Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a bill that I really hold with a lot of regards in regards to accountability in this country. Mr. Speaker, as I continue with my submissions on my reservations on the amendments being proposed on this bill, allow me to demystify the challenges ahead that will be able to follow if we amend this bill the way it is being proposed. Mr. Speaker, if you look at Article 229 of the Constitution, it is very clear. It sets the rules or the powers of the Auditor General. When we introduce, Mr. Speaker, Audit Advisory Board, and we give it the powers, and I want to go on record to clearly state why I'm concerned about the amendments being proposed. And I wish that my colleagues will listen to me, because I've come of age in terms of legislation in this country. And I understand the importance of making laws that will protect me today when I'm in power and tomorrow when I'm not in power. Mr. Speaker, the issue of accountability in this country should not be carried out on a term basis. It should be dealt with in perpetuity, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if we transfer, this bill is proposing to transfer key audit functions, decisions, from the Auditor General to the Audit Advisory Board. The areas that is seeking to transfer is one, on the scope of audit. The current Public Audit Act, Section 31, clearly stipulates on the definition of the scope of audit, where it is a process which is outlined. It starts with an entry meeting, then the manager and the auditors define the scope of audit. Following that, when the audit has been carried out, there's an exit interview. The only thing that I would support there is now ensuring that key officers in the accounting department take responsibility for failure to adhere to the audit recommendation. But the other thing that I completely detest is now saying investigations, the scope of audit shall be determined by the advisory board. Mr. Speaker, that is retrogressive in my view. We should not limit the powers of the Auditor General. And in, Mr. Speaker, if you look at Section 9 of this bill, and those are the sections that I would be seeking to further amend and retain the powers with the Auditor General. Why are we so quick to make decisions that will bite us tomorrow? Why do we keep changing laws to suit our position? Section 9, Mr. Speaker, takes the power away from the Auditor General and give it to an advisory board. It is wrong, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to seek support from both sides of the aisle in really ensuring a fiduciary responsibility and allowing us to be checked, allowing the Auditor General to be the one to check government. There's nothing wrong with that. We're all talking about fighting corruption. If we mean we are fighting corruption, then let's leave the powers that the Constitution has given to the Auditor General with the Auditor General. In fact, the only thing that the only powers that we should give the Audit Advisory Board is just the power on policy direction, things that do not take the power away from the Auditor General. Issues to do with scope, investigation, must be left with the Auditor General. The only thing that I support in this bill, Mr. Speaker, is the decision to now introduce suo motu approach, whereby the Auditor General can engage directly with EACC, with DPP, in terms of carrying out an investigation. But even then, the Auditor General will have to be left to rely on the decision of the Audit Advisory Board. Let's do away with this retrogressive policy direction. Let us focus on policies that will change this country into the first world country that we are all craving to get. Mr. Speaker, the way this bill has been, the amendments, the way they have been produced or proposed, is now to give the veto powers of decisions made. Hypothetically, and I'll try to demystify this, the Auditor General renders her opinion. And then the advisory board comes and veto and says this is not the right way. Let's do away with that. If you look at Section 9 of this bill, Mr. Speaker, I read through this bill overnight, and I've been going through it over and over and over. If you read the amendments, and I'm just going to read them. It says Section 9 of, this is the amendment to Section